Thank you all so much, and thank you, John, for your kind words. You know, I think that it will almost seems as if you saw potential in me, perhaps before I even saw it in myself long ago, and your words mean a great deal. And so too, my colleagues, Lois, to have you here is just really great, and all of the different folks from the cities. And Palm Beach too, it's really wonderful to have you. And to Stu, my love, the one who I always say I married the kindest person on the planet, that's Stu. And our beautiful family, Rick and Sarah, Lauren and Chris, Mitchell, Tyler, and Mirabelle, our grandchildren. It's so great to have you all here for me on this momentous day. It is a new day, a day for new leadership, for us to take a more positive direction in this country. You know, when I first ran for office, the world looked very different than it does today. America's economy was growing. Feeding our families didn't require 2 or 3 jobs. Our industries were expanding around the world, and looking out for each other and for our communities, it wasn't something that was just a quaint idea. It's something that we did. It's something that we believed in. It's actually who we were as a nation. And our country at that time defended itself, but still was at peace. It isn't that we didn't have challenges before our country, then we did, but we were working together, and it made a big difference. When our children were small, I was very active taking on challenges in our neighborhood, and one of the first things that I took on was a stoplight. You see, we had an elementary school with a crosswalk, and there was no light, and the cars just blew through. So I thought, we'll get a stoplight. Well, I kept getting turned down. I got turned down by people who didn't want to listen. I got turned down by officials citing a long list of outdated rules. No, you can't. I got turned down by people who thought maybe they could just ignore me. But little did they know that there's a simple mantra that actually was taught to me by my very first boss long ago, Martha, something that I rely on today, and that was, don't whine, don't complain, just don't go away. If there's anything you need to know about me, it's I'm very persistent. And so while those early years taught me about how to build our neighborhoods and go about building coalitions, that finding that common ground and that common good and moving forward and never giving up on something you believed in would eventually turn all of the no's into yeses. And you know, I got that stoplight. And in the process of fighting for that stoplight, I found my voice. In 1998, I took the plunge and challenged an incumbent county commissioner who was no longer listening to us. I was outspent 15-1. My opponent had lots of cash and all the right endorsements. Boy, doesn't that sound a little familiar. But she didn't have the support of the little guy or the little gal. Everywhere I went, people were excited about the choice to choose between 2 Democrats. The insiders said I couldn't win, but the people hoped that I would. And on election day, an amazing thing happened. Voters countywide delivered a message that politics as usual, the days of politics as usual, were over. The underdog had won in one of America's largest counties in the United States with $15,000. A remarkable feat at that time. And so I won. Now what? What I did was gather all the lessons I had over the years of community building and bring them to the county commission, where they began to bear fruit. 14 action-packed years have sped by. And as John said, the issues that I've been dealing with are getting ever on a larger stage, ever of a different nature, not just the issues that affected our county, but the counties that surround us, our sister counties, Palm Beach, Miami-Dade, and all the way up to Martin, and then finally onto our state stage, and then to a national stage. And the more that I have been involved in issues on the national stage, the more that I know that this nation is crying out for leadership. Because in Washington, they aren't working together anymore. In Washington, politicians are parsing fierce and disrespectful words. Extremists are promoting bizarre and backward agendas, which have become the fodder for late-night comedians. Americans are not only sick of this, we're embarrassed by it. This is not who we are. We are so much more. And so it is because we need a voice who will listen to us, because we need a voice, a challenger who will stand up and compete for us and work hard for us, because we need a leader who can pull us together and pull us forward once again, For all of these reasons, I'm pleased to tell you today and announce my candidacy for the United States House of Representatives. You know, public service has been an amazing journey. I've learned a lot. I've learned that if you stand on your principles and fight for your values, and if you really want to get something done, you have to know how to work with others. I've learned that businesses will put down their roots and put their roots in places where solid public investments have been made, high-quality schools, smart public transportation, and responsible tax rates. As a wife, a mother of 3, a grandmother of 2, and a mother-in-law of an Army soldier who is about to be deployed to Afghanistan for his 3rd tour, I know how American families are hurting. I've seen firsthand the hard choices that families are making, choices between paying the power bill and your health care insurance because you can't afford it. And one of the saddest choices, having to choose between paying the mortgage on your home, which is underwater, like so many Floridians today, or turning the keys in and having to walk away from that lifetime investment. Well, elections are about choices too. And South Florida Democrats deserve a choice in this election. This election, we can choose a woman who literally bridged the divide between 2 counties. And you can see it right out here. I encourage you to look when you leave. The big bridge that's under construction now. A big bridge that was afforded to us by the reinvestment dollars of our president. There are so many efforts that were taking place on the county commission that helped move me to where I am today. And I couldn't have done it without my board and a whole lot of effort of the community. One of those was adopting the living wage so that workers could provide for their families. Preserving open space and building parks for future generations, another very important thing that I have been so involved in, as well as working to free women from the tragedy of domestic violence. Protecting our beaches, where about $7 billion in income comes to both to Broward and Palm Beach counties, and leading our community through the worst hurricane in 55 years. I've proven that I have what it takes to navigate the impossible and find solutions. I'm someone that knows, though, that while my way or the highway is not exactly the way you go about trying to get anything done, there are certain values and principles that are non-negotiable. That's key, a woman's right to choose her own reproductive future. It belongs... That choice belongs not in an overreaching government, and most certainly it doesn't belong in an all-male panel. It belongs to a woman and her doctor. That our Constitution is not for promoting prejudice and fear and hate, it's to protect us from those things. That ensuring our equality is paramount. Equality to marry, equality of opportunity, and equality to achieve the American dream. That our right to breathe clean air and drink clean water and learn in safe schools and earn fair wages for the labor that we put out is not for sale by those who would put profits before people. That Social Security and Medicare keeps our seniors healthy and financially sound, and that they have been paying this forward for their entire lives. That the next generation of American energy should be clean, it should be sustainable, and it should come from right here in America, right here at home. And that treating others with dignity and respect, both our citizens and our colleagues in Congress, is not only non-negotiable, it's the American way. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So here's the thing. If we want the same results we've been getting, a more bitterly divided House where our work is not being done, then let's send a divisive insider to Washington. If we want to do nothing but fight while our middle class gets shoved to the edges of our society, then let's send another pay-to-play Tallahassee politician to Congress. But if we want to stop the insanity and we want to preserve America's greatness, we need to make a difference. Friends, I am that choice. I am that choice. I am the difference that Congress needs. you being here today is just an amazing support that will help propel me forward. In life, there's what we want, and then there's what we get. If you're tired of what you've been getting, then I ask you to join my team. Stand with me in August, stand with me again in November, and send Kristin Jacobs to the United States Congress. Thank you.